Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DCUO SourceCast. I am Trex, and alongside me tonight is Superpatriot.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
And we got the other great guy with us, Vagrant.
What's up?
I am definitely sick. I couldn't come up with anything cool for you, dude. I'm so sorry.
I thought you were gonna forget me like everybody else does, but
No. No, I like you.
I know. I
So,
can tell the sincerity in your voice.
thank you. So, I want to thank you guys. You guys did a fantastic job last week while I was in Raleigh, North Carolina for a con. So, good job. How's the video exporting to YouTube, Soups?
Actually, I checked my email earlier because, I'm having issues while getting on a test right now.
Yeah.
So I was checking my email to see if I got something about that, and I found an email in here saying that my export failed, so I tried it again, and it succeeded. So
I knew it was
that
going to.
that video will be out shortly.
I knew it. I knew it was 12 hours later. There's no way that export is taking that long. No way.
I figured it was Twitch. It's Twitch. So, it's Twitch.
All right. So tonight I will not be actually on the show. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I know I hear it, and it's actually hurting because I feel the pain. I actually caught a cold, or strep, or Ebola, or birds flu, swine flu, something. I got Ebola in the throat. That's what I get for eating
ebola-sars. You got
Everything's
ebola-sars.
ebola-sars. Thanks, Ebola. Thanks, Ebola. Thanks. So, I'm just gonna leave a quick story, and then Soups and Vagrant are gonna be running the show again. Well, I'm actually gonna play the game. We can't get on test server right now due to maintenance, or they're probably updating it for something. I don't know. So I'm gonna be on live server.
Probably adding something.
Yeah, so I'm going to be on the live server because I'm still not 104 CR because I've just had a terrible week because I've been sick. So I'm going to play a little bit tonight. But I'm just going to leave this little story before I go. So last week I was in Raleigh, North Carolina for North Carolina Comic Con. My buddy was running a booth and he needed help. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? He footed me a hotel stay. He footed me entry, so I became an exhibitor. I was like, really, this is awesome. So we're running the booth Saturday morning, floodgates open. It was really busy, really awesome time. So the main guest there is John Barrowman. Do we all know who John Barrowman is?
Nope.
He is Malcolm Merlin from Arrow.
What?
He
Okay.
was Captain Jack from Doctor Who. Him and his sister were there. Okay, so. One, it was $50 to get an autograph. Actually, it was $50 for a photo op, and then $40 for an autograph. I really had the money to really just splurge and do it, but I was helping my buddy with his booth, and I felt bad if I walked away to stay in the line for an hour when he was busy and no one else was with him. So I bit the bullet and I didn't see John Barrowman all weekend. I saw him walking down the hallway past me, but it's not like we made eye contact and had a moment. That didn't happen. But so Saturday, about 3 hours in, my buddy, our other friend who's helping us with the booth, comes in, and my buddy Sean tells me, like, "Hey, Mike, go take a break, walk around, stretch your legs." I'm like, okay, I walked around, stretched my legs, went to a couple of booths, saw some friends, some artists, and chatted with them a little bit, talked about my other podcasts and blah blah blah. Then went back to my booth, and our friend Shelly, who's helping us out, she looks me dead in the eye and just goes, "That guy that you're here for was just here." And my jaw dropped, and Sean was laughing his ass off. And he was like, dude, 5 minutes after you left, John Barrowman and his sister came by the booth and bought some stuff from me. And I almost cried. If there weren't like 5 people in our booth shopping, I would have broke down tears and just had a moment. But because John was there and you had to like pay for photo ops, we couldn't really get a picture of him like standing there posing or anything. So he's shopping around. My buddy Sean snaps a picture really fast of him just shopping. So that's all I have to remember John Behrman by is a photo of him shopping at the booth that I was working at, that I was on break for. I missed my John Behrman moment. I could have backslash. I'm telling you right now, if you guys don't understand, I love John Behrman. I loved him in Captain Jack and Doctor Who, and now he's in Arrow as a season regular. It's even better. I mean, that's the guy. That is my guy. That's if I had to go gay, he would be the guy I would go gay for. He could turn me, I'll be okay.
I don't know about that one. But I have been watching season 3 of Arrow.
It's amazing. But the whole entire weekend, I was fine. But then Monday, when after I got home and I was actually at work, I felt my throat starting to get caved in. So I've been sick since Monday. Hard to talk, hard to swallow. It's probably just my sinus infection and going down. But
ebola-sars.
And the ebola-sars. The Ebola has done it. So,
Yep.
so, and that's also why I wasn't on FNL tonight, because I didn't want to cough and everything on the show. So, Curse
is going to take your job, man.
I feel Curse is going to take my job too. I feel it. I really feel it, and I wish him luck because I can cut a dude. I will snip. So, I'll go ahead and bring us into you guys can talk about your week, and then I'm going to be on the backstage. I'm going to be running everything on the back end. So these guys are going to be talking about some great stuff today that, sadly, I can't jump into. I will say that, no, I haven't gotten to play War of the Light Part 2 on the live server, but while I played in test, it's really fun. Really good. But, Soups, Vagrant, the show is yours. You guys want to just let me know when you want to jump into Friday Night Legends, and have at thee.
Real quick, I just want to say something.
Yeah.
Am I the only person who thinks it's lame that celebrities ask for money for photo ops and signatures?
No.
At cons like this. So I'm sorry, because I mean, I'm not saying especially him. I mean, he's a supporting character on a very popular TV show, but I mean, the dude's making money off of that. And he got flown out for the con, I'm sure. His room probably was paid for. I don't understand why, this whole... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do they really need to be paid to do that? I mean, it should be part of the con,
It is part of the con. The convention organizers, they pay for the flight, they pay for for the hotel stay for the guest. Now, when the guest is there, the reason that the guest is there is because they have a contract saying that, because when they're at the cons, those photo ops and those autographs are the way that they make money. Because those guests take up table space that a vendor could use as well. So they get top billing, and sure, they might get everything handed to them, but when they're there, they still are there to make money themselves as well. So I was a person that didn't really get it myself. I went to a local con up in Greenville, and I had a guy who played Abe Sabian. He was there, and he broke it down for me on how this stuff goes, and I had an organizer tell me as well, and I get it now. It's basically their vendors themselves, and they're there to make money. Now, them being guests, they got their hotel booked, they got their flight taken care of. I mean, they're there for free. The organizer did everything. The organizer paid out of pocket for them to be there. And so for the guests to want to make needs to make money as well. So, it's there. Now, I will say that when guests come about, when I look at John Behrman's pricing for, and this right here was the kicker, it was $40 for the autograph, $40 for a photo, or $50 for a photo op. The organizers also had this cool thing where for $150 you could have like this special dinner with John Behrman, and I trust me, I was ready to drop that money, but then one bill came up and really pissed me off, and at the same time I was fearful that I couldn't go. But yeah, $150, I would spend it. If it's for that guest, people are gonna pay that money. Now, if it was for a Walking Dead actor, like some B-rated zombie, or some guy who was in the season maybe all of one season, but he died still, like in the prison scene, if he was there for the whole prison, I wouldn't have paid for an autograph. I wouldn't have paid for a photo op. That's not going to happen. Now, if it was Norman Reedus, or if it was that Andrew guy, I would have paid. I would have paid handsomely. Just like when you go to the bigger cons. Like, when you go to a big con, you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I wanted to go get a commission done from Bernard Chang, who is the artist for Green Lantern Corps. He didn't really have any commissions there, but the artwork that he had was like in the hundreds. And I was like, I can't pay for this, sadly, but I really wanted to. I mean, if it's for the right guest, they can make that money. But looking at the scale and how John is, John Behrman might be a side character in Arrow, but when you come into the Doctor Who realm, oh, he is the star. You have him and David Tennant. People will move David Tennant out of the way for John Behrman. It just depends on the star. Just depends on the star. But I mean, I definitely get what you're saying, Soups. I definitely get it, because I was one of those people. But now it has to be that person that I feel that really needs it, then I'll do it. Oh. I'm telling you right now, JR, you say you would never, but you're going to get that price point, and you're going to have that money, and you're going to find that guy who can fit that for your guest, and you'll do it. I said I would never do it too, but I got Abe Sapien, and I would have gotten John Behrman. If only I could get John Behrman. And there's only specific ones that I would do it for, because I mean they're there to make money as well. They might be guests at this con, like Jason David Frank. Who would not want to get an autograph from Jason David Frank? I mean, he's going to charge you. But I'm telling you now, with his contract with Wizard World, it's probably going to be out the ass. I mean, if it's like $50 for a photo op, I can do. Because, I mean, that's something you can treasure. But $100 for a photo op, you can bite me. That's going to be like one long photo op. Sadly, I do not go to PAX in Seattle. I can't make all the way out there. Oh. Yeah, we're not big enough to pay to pay people for our autograph. If I get my SAG card, then if I get a SAG card and I'm in a major motion picture with Matthew McConaughey, then I'll start charging for autographs. It's like $5 at a candy bar. You get my autograph. All right, I'm gonna mute myself, and the show's over there. So, guys, talk about your week. The show's yours, and just let me know when to change stuff.
All right. So FNL, Vagrant, do you feel that we had a proper representation for the USPC PvP side there tonight?
From the matches that I saw, because I came in late, the matches that I saw, I was like, well.
Hold on. I do have to chime in. Sorry, because Jimmy did bring it up. Yes, I was in the Hunger Games. But I'm still not going to charge for autographs. I'm still not. But I hope you guys do enjoy the Hunger Games. It was a great job. It was a great experience working on that project. It really was. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Mute yourself again, please.
Don't hate because I am in the Hunger Games. Don't hate. You know a star. Or at least a guy who really looks like that star. Go Hunger Games. Okay, back to you guys.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's only 4 teams signed up. I mean, there was 6 earlier in the week that I saw, but apparently, I'm guessing there was some issues with those, with 2 of those teams.
I thought they didn't show up, or something like that, right?
I don't know. All I know is there was only 4 teams showed up, and FAMI was not one of them. And FAMI, from my understanding, is like one of the PvP leagues on USPC. Is that correct?
Yeah, I go against them all the time.
Yeah, and there was no FAMI on there.
I mean, the only thing I hate about FAMI is that at least most of their members I go against in Legends, they'll be a Dr. Fate and they'll go fly up above and just keep spamming right hold. Like that's gonna work.
That just seems like a normal tactic that us people use. They like to do that.
Oh yeah, it is.
But so okay, the matches that you saw, which honestly, I mean, there was only 3 matches, or actually there was 4 matches total tonight. I mean, so I don't know. I was like, some of those matches I felt bad for the other team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
just because, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, even the team that went into the finals against Hope Brothers, who won it, which is of course Clutch and Slob and them guys. I mean, they got 2 kills on them at least, but I mean, even then, it's still 1,100. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak from experience because I don't play on the USPC, but I look at these tournaments every month and everything, and I'm just not seeing a lot of the competitors coming out for these things on USPC. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why. It's frustrating. I mean, it's got to be frustrating for the PC guys. Seeing the same people win all the time, and I'm not putting anything against the guys in the Hope Brothers or Clutch and Slob and everything like that. But I mean, where's everybody else at?
The PvP scene on USPC is just definitely not as big. We've said it all the time, and Trex can agree with me, that we have come from other MMOs. And I've said it multiple times. I don't enjoy DC's PvP as much as I could, because it just doesn't offer a lot of things that other MMOs do. And I specifically like playing PvP, but I like playing objective-based PvP maps. Deathmatch is all right, but we're riddled with deathmatch matches and maps. Riddled with it. And players, and you can go on forums and see that for a lot of these objective-based maps that they do try and push on us, that are admittedly fun when you can get a team that knows what they're doing. But most of the time, players go into a map and are trying to do deathmatch. And that makes me step away from PvP and say, it's just not what it could be. And that's why I don't get into the competitive PvP scene, because it doesn't seem as fun as it could be. And I'm sure a lot of PC players feel the same way. When you enter the PlayStation realm, players are playing this game for the first time and going like, wow, like this is a huge open game. There's tons of variety. They get into PvP and they have a ball with it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the main thing that you could at least bring up, population difference. Population is definitely not as big as PlayStation side.
Right. I suppose. I don't know. I know there's some competitive people on the PC side, though. I know there's people that I don't know if maybe it's just word of mouth not getting the word out there to everybody, or maybe it's just some people are just like, I don't want to get raffle stomped by Clutch and Slob every time I sign up for one of these scenes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But speaking of objective based, though, Spittle did leak out a little something. He was putting together a new form of PvP that he was talking about doing there. He said he had it up on his whiteboard. He's got nothing specific, but it had something to do. It was objective based, and it had something to do with football and needing to know, or on top of that, needing to know or be able to how was it? He needed to know what maps currently in the game had long hallways. So
if it's anything like Huttball from Star Wars: The Old Republic,
we see
that I will have a blast with it.
My thing is this about that is, the second part of Watchtower HQ, the 8-player map. Mm-hmm. All right, that's kind of like football, right there. You're trying to get the disruptor or whatever that thing is down down to the other side, and yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. See, you're already growling at it.
What they need to do, and I'm sure you could agree with me, Soups, is they need to code it to where you don't have to pick up something. That's why Capture the Flag didn't work on the moon. You had to pick it up, and the problem was it fell through the floor, is what the biggest issue with Moon was.
Well, there was an issue where it could fall through the floor, and then there was an issue, which I don't know if it's still live or not, but there was an issue where on one side of it, you could get it stuck up on the wall and still earn points.
I know Watchtower 8v8 had it to where there was a bug where you couldn't interact with the console, so you can make it to where you could start scoring. They just need to make it to where it's like a buff or something, where it's attached to your character. You don't have to pick up anything. All you have to do is interact with something. Makes your character have a flag or something, and the only way to get it off of them is to kill them. That would make sense. Something that you have to pick up is just awkward. I mean, they try and get around that where you can counter the character to get them to drop it. Mm-hmm. But it's still awkward. You still have that, that second where you're picking it up. I mean, they made that faster eventually. They sped up that animation time, but it's still not what it could be.
Right.
And I'm still waiting for when Headquarters, Hall of Doom, and Watchtower gets split up. That way we technically have 4 maps instead of only 2 that way.
Yeah. Well, what I'm waiting for is for us to get some kind of PvP involving our league halls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm really looking forward to.
I mean, if he's looking for a map that has a long hallway, hello, you just released it.
Which one?
The league halls.
The league halls. Yeah. I said Central Hub would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Central Hub would be awesome.
But yeah, there does need to be more objective-based maps. I mean, a tournament doesn't always have to necessarily be deathmatch. There could be other types of tournaments. I mean, heck, other games have it. It doesn't always have to be deathmatch. I mean, deathmatch does probably require a lot of strategy, but at the same time, so does Capture the Flag. So does a lot of objective-based maps. You need a lot of strategy to win and essentially come out on top. Deathmatch is just it's really depending on the skill of being able to counter people, using your stunts to your advantage and things like that. Strategy would be like, all right, I need 3 of you coming with me to flag. I need 2 of you defending the base, things like that. That would be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else did they talk about there? Game Update 43 is coming. It's currently on PC test. Which test is up, by the way, Trex? I don't know if you wanted to hop on there and show off anything. But
show off new ice mechanics and stuff.
But yeah, so we got that going on test right now with Update 43 with all these different changes. You know, ice that Vagrant just talked about. We also have mental, hard light, fire, tanking update
and
is
nature.
What's that?
And nature.
And nature's on there as well. So I got into a few interesting conversations this week with old buddy of yours, Vagrant.
How does he feel about it?
I just wish, you know, nothing's ever going to make him happy. So honestly, I don't care anymore. Seriously, if it's not one thing he's whinging about, it's something else, and it's starting to really freaking annoy the hell out of me.
You need to put a muzzle on that dog, man.
That dog is fine. The dog's doing his job.
All right, so basically, me and him would bump heads on certain aspects, but we would also agree on certain things. But he always felt that the developers nerf everything, and that's always their answer. Necessarily, the devs aren't always nerfing something, but in general, to me, it felt like he would always complain that powers were being changed, like a lot of people on forums felt. And I brought this up in a video I made. I was saying, look at any other game that does not continuously change how classes are played.
Yeah.
You won't find it. Trust me. No update goes by in any other MMO where a power is not changed in some shape or form. And in a lot of cases, they're completely changed to where you play them completely differently. Look at Warlords of Draenor. Bet you $10 Trex could tell you that every single class right now plays completely differently than it did a week ago.
Right. See, so my thing with Crappy is I like Crappy. All right, honestly, you know what? With a lot of his ideas, I agree with him on them. It's just the way he approaches it. Everything's a table flipping episode. You know, I mean, it is with him a lot of the times. Everything is like it's like, oh, you guys did this. Oh my god. The tables are getting flipped, things are getting thrown out windows and everything, and it's like, dude, it's not that freaking big of a deal. And if he doesn't get his way, he just like spazzes out. Frustrates me sometimes, that's all. But yeah, I mean, some of the things going on, talking lots of changes going on with nature and everything. You want to talk about the changes with nature, and then I'll jump on with ice, or if you want to do ice, and I'll talk about nature.
Well, see, I haven't had a lot of testing with. I haven't been on. I just haven't had time. There's been a lot of releases this week. Little Big Planet 3, Super Smash Brothers Wii U.
Dude, don't get me started. I've been all over AC Unity, and then Inquisition dropped Tuesday. And all that. Yeah, trust me, I know what you're talking about there. I feel your pain.
I know what they're trying for, though, in terms of this update for Nature's Awesome Mechanic, or Advanced Mechanic. They're trying to make it to where you're encouraged to try different builds with the shape-shifting, primarily with the wolf form. Because previously, I'm pretty sure you would go against nature in PvP. Odds are they were running a primal wolf build because it was awesome back in the day.
Right.
Especially since a lot of people didn't know the difference between the wolf's lunges Their left hold,
oh my god,
which was their interrupts, looked almost the same as their freaking block breaker, and that confused the heck out of a lot of people. But that's what was an advantage to the Primal Wolf form. That, and it just did a crap ton of damage because you could stack buffs. Every time you got a kill, you got a buff that would increase your crit rate. It was insane. Nature was really good in PvP. Now they're trying to bring that idea back by having it to where you get extra buffs and power back, and like I think they just released a build where you're encouraged to stack dots in Primal Wolf form, and they're trying to bring that idea back where you get a lot of damage out while you're in Primal Wolf form, being within melee or ranged, and I think that's a good idea. I'm not sure if that's going to work, just because I haven't been able to test it.
Right.
But it seems like that's what they're trying to go for. So this also brings up the idea that Game Update 43 is probably going to be the start of. It seems that they're trying to bring advanced mechanics to multiple trees within each class. So like how fire's volatile advanced mechanic, I think, is which tree does that fall under? Immolation or ignition? I think it's immolation.
Well, honestly, you can get the volatility from either one of them, but let me look, because now they changed it up to where you can use. Oh no, wait, no, that would be under ignition, yeah, because that's where burning debt and absorb heat are at. And
then, see what I mean?
Yeah, flame cascade.
It seems like they're trying to add an advanced mechanic for both trees. That way you can play each class in different ways, especially for DPS. So, basically, like for nature, you have a flora advanced mechanic for damage, basically, which is where you stack dots, refresh it, and have the power to do it and keep doing it. And then their fauna tree would be, you would stack dots in Primal Wolf form and then gain damage from being in Primal Wolf form. And that would be their advanced mechanic. So I'm hoping to see that there's multiple ways to have advanced mechanic in each class at some point. And I guess Game Update 43, like I said, is more or less the start.
Yeah. Now with hold on a second here. I'll bring up the changes they've made with ice. I would like to talk about ice a little bit here. So here they've basically made let's see here. Abilities that apply the chill effect now refresh the duration of ice armor. So now you won't lose your ice armor. You'll actually be able to keep the ice armor on, which that sounds phenomenal, especially for when you're tanking.
Definitely.
Empowered channeling, Arctic Gust and Avalanche no longer affected by the empowered channeling mod, which is a good thing considering the changes they made to those two powers. Arctic Gust is an increased cone width from 30 degrees to 90 degrees, removes the cooldown and reduced the channeling time to 2.5 seconds. This now causes additional damage while in damage roll when used against enemies standing in ice fields. Also causes additional damage while in damage roll when you have ice armor or have 4 or more chill effects active. Arctic Gust gains a block break properties while using ice's advanced mechanic. That's why they took away the empowered channeling effect for it. Avalanche adjusted the physical properties of the ability so it reliably hits your target and surrounding enemies in a large area of effect 8 times and tuned them so enemies are not scattered to the 4 winds. They removed the cooldown and reduced the channeling time to 2.5 seconds. Now causes additional damage while in damage roll. When used against enemies standing in ice fields, also causes additional damage when you have ice armor or have 4 or more chill effects active. Avalanche gains block breaking properties when using ice's advanced mechanic. Cold Snap. While in damage roll and Cold Snap is active, you recover a portion of the power active from Arctic Gust. So this is basically the same as what they did with Fire with its advanced mechanic. Except from what I'm understanding, the numbers on it are actually, good.
Well, it's different because technically your what's it called? Power interaction of volatility has to be stacked on the enemy, while the power interaction for ice to get the most damage is just stacked on upon yourself.
They changed fire up. The volatility is now on you.
Oh, okay.
The volatility is now on you with fire. So they changed that so you're not having to constantly set it up on new targets whenever they finally come out, or like when you're going through hallways, like in Necro. So they've changed that up to where the volatility is on you. My issue still with fire is the damage is too inconsistent with mass debt, and it's going to be like that forever until they fix that. But from my understanding with ice, though, the numbers that people are seeing with Arctic Gust and Avalanche are really good and they're consistent. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm using Avalanche right now, and it's like, I don't know, like 20 ticks or something. It's like at least a consistent 1,000 or so every tick or whatever. It's of course it can change if you don't crit, but if your crit is high, then obviously you're gonna crit for like at least 10k plus for the whole Avalanche.
Right.
Which is really, really good,
Yeah. Have you been keeping track of the mental advanced mechanics discussion at all?
I thought the mentals was really interesting because you can, from what I'm reading, you can block break with a power.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do that with ice. You can also do it with fire. But yeah, you can block with the way they did these advanced mechanics. Yeah, you can do that. I do it all the time in PvP, especially in 1v1s, and I know people are like, "What the hell just happened?" Because people don't read the descriptions or they don't read the forms of the powers and everything. It's like if you have volatility up and all that, I can block break you with Flame Cascade. I actually have Flame Cascade in my PvP loadout just because of that. Because honestly, it's a faster block breaker than Shields is. Shields block breaker is.
That if you don't read, then you're not gonna know.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't hit as hard as a block break does, but it still block breaks and it's awesome. And you get a blue immunity from it too. Glorious. But no, there was a lot of discussion going around mental there, and some tempers flared because basically they were trying to make mental kind of like gadgets, okay, where mass terror was going to be like mental's version of EMP, and then mass levitation was going to be their sleep dart, right? So that's basically how they were. It was looking to be. I mean, I was saying that that's exactly what they were going for. That was basically the gist of it. But there was a lot of people really upset with the changes that they made because mass terror was no longer applying the terrorized PI.
Yeah, which I mean, kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense given the name of it, But yeah, and people were more upset that instead of giving mental a new power like gadgets got, because they got rid of the shield for gadgets and gave them EMP. Why didn't they just do something like that with mental? I think was one of the things that was discussed. I heard most of this from a couple of the guys in my league, one of which is mental, and he was they were like saying I was like well, what would you be willing to give up from the trees for mental? I mean, what would you be like reflect pain? Would you be willing to give that up? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. But yeah, lots of changes with mental here. Let's see, the mass terror, the ability no longer applies damage over time effect, which honestly I believe they've changed a lot of what they initially had in place for mental in that regards. Trying to find the post and all that where they made those changes, but I'm not exactly sure where it's at. But yeah, definitely check out that thread there. There was some very heated discussions from my understanding that went on in there in that regards. and some very upset people over the initial changes they were talking about. And then, of course, we've got the hard light combos. Their hard light is getting advanced mechanic. What is this? Revamp number 5 for hard light.
Yep.
We talked about
I think
last week.
legitimately,
We talked about this a little bit last week, didn't we? About hard light players are never going to be happy. All hard light players they're the crappy heels of DC Universe Online. They're never going to be happy.
I mean, hard light, which we touched upon last week, it's the most unique power that DC has going for it. And it's hard to keep something so unique becoming overpowered.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about it where, and I'm pretty sure you agreed with me, where the old hard light was all about clipping and making your character look like he was like a glitch.
Seizure.
And yeah, and that's what they're trying to fix, but still make the power make sense to lore, which is why we're not gonna get white and black lanterns as playable characters, but that's besides the point. Because it just would make sense to lore. And the idea of a lantern is you can use your whole imagination to keep creating constructs and things like that. They're trying to do that by making it to where almost everything, or at least just about everything right now, combos into each other, where you can keep going endlessly, and they made it to where you keep getting power back, to where you can technically keep going. The only thing that's going to stop you is getting interrupted, like you get stunned from a boss or you have to move out of the way. And in my opinion, that's a good step, because that keeps the idea of what the power is supposed to be to heart. You pretty much keep going. You can keep creating constructs to your imagination. Whether the damage or not is going to be great. I've seen a couple videos and they seemed pretty good. I'm not sure. I'm not I haven't tested it. I've never played Hard Light because I don't like the way it's played. I've always played Mental, Sorcery, or Earth.
Right.
Never played Hard Light.
I've got I mentioned this last week. I've got a Hard Light character that I leveled to 30 and I haven't touched him since.
Not because it's necessarily hard for me, because PC has something called macroing.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily hard for me to do any of these combos because I can just macro it to where it gives me the best damage down to the soonest second, literally.
Right.
I can be the best hard light player out there because I can just macro it. Sorry to say that to the PlayStation players, because you technically have to break your fingers to do the same thing that I can do with just a press of a button.
Yeah, I think I reenacted the sounds of a hard light player on on PS on the console before.
Sounded like a ton of clicks.
Sounded like they threw their freaking controller down the steps sometimes. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand how that can be fun. I really don't.
It can be fun because it appeals to the Twitch gamers out there.
Yeah.
Those dual thumbstick people that love having basically COD players. You're gonna love Light if you like the idea of something that another person could pick it up and completely suck at it compared to you. They're going to love that idea. But that was basically the problem of it already. You had to know a lot of these things that in general made the game look bad already, So Lights, I feel, is moving in the right direction. Whether or not it will make people happy in the long run is obviously going to require just more testing. I'm pretty sure if the developers just went like, hey, if you do it this way, and the damage was like freaking amazing, they would stop bitching in general, but from what I've seen on the videos, I thought the damage was pretty all right. Because I saw them comboing from like, was it? I think it's the boxing gloves into the chainsaw or something like that, and almost each hit was like at least 2 to 3K.
Yeah.
And it's AOE, so I thought that was, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Better than Mass Debt, that's for sure. Anyways,
Give it some time.
I know. I know. But yeah, what else was there coming with update 43? Oh, we're gonna talk about the whole unlock this instance for me thing. Yeah, about being able to unlock instances for other players with your replay badges. How do you feel about that?
I feel this is going to add more. Of course, it can be, taken advantage. People are going to do that. Almost everything in the game is ruined by people that are like, I'm not going to run this instance unless you reset it for me. And crap like that. And, everybody will then complain about it, which sucks because the idea of the feature is supposed to encourage more group play. DC doesn't have a problem with group play. It's just supposed to encourage it, which is good. I have a ton of replay badges. Brittany said she had 8,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would not mind sharing some.
Oh, I'm sure she's going to mind. I'm almost positive she's going to mind. I saw her reaction to the news on the FNL stream when they announced that, and she's like, so I'm gonna have to start unlocking instances for people, and she just all frowny face and everything. I know for a fact the guys in her league are gonna be coaxing her and strong arming her and pressuring her into unlocking stuff for them because she has so many replay badges. I know for a fact they're gonna do it because I know a lot of those guys. I know, but the thing is, they will guilt the shit out of her. I know a lot of those guys in her leagues, and they're gonna do it. Trust me, they're gonna do it.
Well, for leagues like mine, where it's literally a group of friends and we all have a freaking blast when we have raid nights and PvP nights, we wouldn't mind being like, hey, anyone run Necro in extra time? And they're like, I would if, I had the replay badges for it. I'd be like, nah, man, I got you. And then the stuff for leagues and friends is going to be an amazing feature to add. Of course, everybody's thinking it's just going to be taken advantage of, but the idea of a more social feature is still good for the game. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And, they did, make a change recently and all that, where it's only going to be people in your league or on your friends list that you can reopen an instance for them. So it's not going to be too bad, but yeah, I can, like we were talking about before the show and everything. I foresee, and I agree with you. I'm foreseeing a lot. Hey, I'll rerun this if you add me to your friends list and you unlock it for me. But oh nope, oh you're not going to unlock it. Oh nope, sorry, can't do it then. I'm seeing it happening.
I mean, you really can't prevent anything like that. It's going to happen, but like I said, it's supposed to really encourage that friendly environment all in all anyways. And, leagues will definitely appreciate a feature like this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I'm already kind of feeling the pain right now of being one of the few guys in my league. So we've got one guy in my league. He actually has a lot of in-game cash. I know I'm not going to put his name out there, but he bought the new Ultra soda plan, and he gave it to me so I could keep our league bank stocked up. That's starting to cost me some money, man. It's starting to cost me a.
Aren't you like filthy rich or something?
Yeah, but I'm a miser, dude. I mean, seriously, I still freaking will go and get the bounty posters outside the PDs for free sodas when I'm PvPing. You know, the gray trash that we get, I sell that to vendors. I don't just delete it out of my inventory. I sell it. You know, I mean, I am. You know, people joke and everything about me being a miser and everything, and stuff. It's true. And I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, that's how I've keep my money where it's at.
Well,
people want to know, how did you make this? How did you make that much money? I was like, I get free sodas to make my sodas with. So it's like that's a start. But so people wanting to use my replay badges too. Come on, man, no. No.
I'm the type of person that would be like, I got you, because
See,
I like.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, here or there, I could maybe, I might be willing to, but I mean, there's some people and all that. So I don't have any money for replay badges. Go mow a lawn, kid. Go shovel some driveways. It's snowing out now. I was like, I've had people, in my league, because I've got some young guys in my league. JR SoFly, Smurf, they can attest to this. JR SoFly especially can attest to this. He's been in my league since I started it. If people, tell me so I can't afford my sub this month, so I won't be back for a while. Yeah, Archer, that's not happening, buddy. If you don't have replays, go shovel somebody's driveway. But I mean, that's what I tell a lot of them. I'm like, go mow a lawn, go shovel a driveway. That would make some money and all that, and then buy yourself a PSN card.
Yeah, like, really, my biggest question to some people would be $15 a month is not that expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
yeah. I don't know. Do you watch South Park?
Yeah.
Did you see
not the latest ones?
Oh, okay.
I used to.
You need to watch the Freemium Isn't Free episode. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's all about a mobile app and all that. And it's free, but then if you need one more coins and all that, if you want to buy this many for 49 cents and all how it all just adds up. Seriously, folks, right? If you play this game actively as a premium player, all right, and you're buying all these replays, you're buying respect tokens and everything like that, you would probably save money if you just subbed up.
Yep.
Seriously, I think the 3-month legendary plan is still out there.
I'm not sure.
Three for 30, dude. That is a deal. That is a deal. I want to see if Trex is going to get the no escape feat. If he doesn't already have it.
But, what else is in game update 43?
Plus, if you guys sub up, you know what? You got instant access to every bit of cash that you got in your wallet, and you don't have to complain about that anymore, or at least I don't have to hear it. But yeah, more stuff with update 43. We got the pay it forward, thing for unlocking instances for your friends. I don't know. Did they say? Well, no. Legends PvE is going to be a. I have not done Legends PvE since the changes. Have you?
Yeah, I haven't been able to because no one's on the test
Yeah.
server.
Well, apparently that night for those of you guys out there that don't know, apparently that night when me, Trex, and Vagrant tried to run it with John Knoll, that was their initial test build that they put out there, and it was the uber hard build that they put on test for it. And it was not the build for Legends PvE that they intended to release on test. So
Really,
that's why we were getting our asses kicked.
I didn't find it hard. I didn't.
Dude,
I didn't die until the very last.
I was not having fun in there at all. I was not having fun in there at all.
You had to be smart about how you used your powers. That's what I liked about it. Are you serious? They made it easier. They made something easier again.
No, they didn't make it easier. It's just it wasn't that they made it easier. They just, they put in the intended build for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they put in the wrong build.
Yeah.
Which was like uber freaking hard, and they put in the correct one this time. So, and from my understanding, they'll talk.
Makes it easier then.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, it is easier, but from my understanding, though, people that have been playing it, are enjoying it. It still has the challenge to it and everything like that, but it's not, you're not getting smacked in the face, the whole time.
I'm okay. So, I saw a video on YouTube,
Uh-oh.
and the guy was like, "Why would I want to do this instance that takes me like 30 to 40 minutes to complete?" I'm like, God damn, 30 to 40 minutes is a long ass time.
Yeah.
Dude, I played oh my god, just for once.
People like that. People like that were not here when FOS 2 was first launched.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so South Gotham Courthouse. If you ran it when it first came out, guess how long it took? 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah. Just saying.
Yep.
It does not take that long to sit down and do a 30 to 40 minute instance. Guess how long it takes to do an instance in another game like World of Warcraft. A raid, get ready to sit down for like 4 to 5 hours. And that's even if you maybe complete it, especially when it's new. Right. I'm tired of people saying that instances need to be done in like 10 to 15 minutes. Because then you're just watering down your own content. And that's why I don't agree when players complain that content needs to be easier, needs to be shorter. It's not good.
Yeah. Well, so you think about people, think about Final Fantasy too. I've talked to people that played Final Fantasy. They'd be in a raid for like 12 hours in Final Fantasy.
And that's the sense of accomplishment when you get done with it, though. You get out of there, especially if you get one good example is Volta-Class from Destiny. You go in there, it's balls to the walls hard, but when you get done with it, damn, do you feel good. You strut that off, especially if you got a cool drop. You're like, man, I'm one of that. I'm like part of that 5% that completed this, and you feel really good about it.
All right, I just have to ask real quick here, not to change the subject or anything, but Trex, did you die because you had no power?
Turn on your mic, Trex.
Well, he has his mic on. I've been hearing him cough.
Died because of.
Yeah, did you die because you ran out of power and rage crashed?
One second. Shut up. No. Yeah, I died. I died mainly because of the rage crash. That was basically it.
Was it because you were out of power though?
No. I have full power. Oh, so Dude's doing a great job. Remember I have everything. I don't have my sound on because we're recording, so I don't hear my rage crash. I'm having to visually look in time, so it's a little messed up on my part. So,
Gotcha.
but I mean, it does right there. We would have done it, but I was focusing so much on looking at ads, I wasn't looking at my rage crash timer.
Can you talk with Vagrant a little bit about some of the stuff coming up? Because I gotta go AFK for like 2 seconds.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Get some honey. Get some honey lemon, Trex. We got a lot to talk about.
Son of a bitch.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, yeah, about them Dodgers.
Were you paying attention to what we were talking about?
Like half and half.
You son of a bitch.
What? I ain't pretend to listen to y'all.
No, I'm just kidding.
Game update 43 for me is it was the replay lockout thing sounded really cool, so I'm actually really interested to see how that plays out within the community, because I already started seeing the bad of it. I started running the bad through my head, but I am not someone who has an abundance of. Wait, I actually do. I have like 2K of replay badges. Is that something?
I have around like 3K.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use my replay badges. I really don't. There's nothing for me to use them on.
I do when like I'm trying to hear myself fast. But we were talking about.
Yeah, what were you guys talking about?
PvE.
Oh,
we were
that.
talking about Legends PvE and how some players felt that an instance that takes like 30 to 40 minutes, like an alert, and how most 4-man content in games take is too long.
That's right. I do remember. Okay, I remember this because you mentioned my name in WoW. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's have a good talk. So yeah, the Legends PvE that Soups and that we all ran was not right. It was the wrong one that we needed. But yeah, content wise, like for a 40-minute run in an alert, it's like nothing. Because I came from World of Warcraft raiding, which, like Smurf said, that shit took a week. I mean, and it wasn't like a solid. It wasn't like a week. Like, oh my god, it's a terrible. No, we had to go a week within different wings, where we would spend 2 or 3 days in one wing, and that by itself was 2 hours, because that's how much we run 2-hour runs. So think about that. That's one wing. So your FOS 2 is one wing in WoW. One. That 40-minute run is one wing, and we would focus hard on that wing. It's fucking ridiculous. And that's the one thing I like about it, was just the level of difficulty. Well, some of the level of difficulty, not anymore, but yeah, that's my agenda.
My argument would be, you get a huge sense of accomplishment when you get done with it and you actually win.
You do. You really do. I would throw birthday party extravaganzas when we cleared Lich King, because like wow. But yeah, I mean, level difficulty in this game has its own difficulty, but it's a time difference where PlayStation players, I feel as PlayStation players are doing this, want it to be faster because they're not used to it.
Yeah, but that's also a problem of why content gets steamrolled within a week. You know, like,
that's true.
An update like this in another game, you wouldn't be done with it until a month after. Like, you wouldn't have ran Rage, Impurity. You wouldn't have ran Spark of Parallax, Spark of Ion all in one day. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. and let me clarify. When I say a week, my guild in WoW, we have 3 days of raiding. 3 days, 2 hours. That's our week. I think that's actually the norm for a lot of raiding guilds, even for some leagues. So that's 6 hours a week of trying to take out a wing, and then working on the rest of the wings as well. So, I've grown to have patience because of my time there, and yeah, we steamroll. Like, people just go off. It's like, oh my god, we beat this raid in 1 day. Like, oh, it was too easy. It's like, well, maybe not. Am I going to beat something, just say, oh my god, this is too easy? Or am I going to say, wow, we beat this, go us. Woo. I am more of the optimist who's like, yeah, we did it, high fives all around, instead of going, oh my god, this is too easy, we need to play a different game. This is no difficult whatsoever.
Yeah, for me, I'd like the difficulty and everything like that, but with some things, like, I don't know. For me, I would prefer different and more difficult mechanics than longer. You know what I'm saying? If the mechanics is what makes it longer, that's fine. That's fine. But if it's okay, yeah, now you gotta go over here, then over here, then over there, then over here, then over there. That's when I'm not too thrilled about it. That's why some a lot of players don't like the operations. Like, perfect example of this is Vengeance, the Tier 4 Operation Vengeance on the hero side.
Seeds is just as bad.
Yeah, but you guys have a teleport for that. We
get a teleporter and you don't.
Yeah, for Vengeance. This is what Vengeance does on the hero side. Okay, you go in there, the Fate's Sanctuary or whatever and whatnot. That's where you start off at. Then you leave that. All right, and you're outside there. You have to go to Ellsworth Hospital. All right, you fight a boss there. Then you have to go all the way over to the Metrodome. All right, you fight a boss there. Then you go all the way to the Suicide Slums, the docks at Suicide Slums. You fight a boss there, and then you have to fly, or run, or glide all the way to Glenmorgan Square. You spend, especially when you get higher geared and everything like that, and you're taking friends through and all that, help them gear up or get feats in there. You spend more time traveling than you do actually in those areas fighting when you get to them. That's what a lot of people don't like. I'm not too thrilled about those instances, mainly because of that. And so that's so if it's something to do with the mechanics, like Paradox is a good example. Paradox Wave is a good example. It's not a long raid, but it's got mechanics in there that could make that raid long if you don't pay attention to those mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate Paradox, as much as I hate Wave, it's got the mechanics that people look for difficulty when it comes to difficulty.
Hold on.
Uber health. What's up?
Let me just say right now, Dylan, I go back to WoW a lot because that's where my experience came from. I started MMOs back in 2005 with World of Warcraft Vanilla before expansion packs. That's where my MMO knowledge comes from, and that's where I am an MMO player from. That is my OG. So, I came into DCUO, and I'm using a lot of references from World of Warcraft because that's my knowledge. I could also go with Runes of Magic, but I'd really rather not talk about that. I could also talk about Guild Wars, but I'd rather really get rid of Guild Wars in the back of my mind as well. So when I compare DCUO to another MMO, I'm going to compare it to World of Warcraft because that's why I know, and that's why I know like the back of my hand, just like I know DCUO on the other side of the back of my hand. So I will always compare DCUO and WoW for the difficulty, for the UI, for a lot of things. But I also understand that these are two different beasts, where one's a hotkey MMO where it does get a little boring, and the other one's an action MMO where it actually gets you involved. That's where I'm always going to be going. So I'm not talking about MLG because I don't play arenas. I don't PvP at all. So if I have to go to comparisons, I will always go to comparisons of World of Warcraft because that's where my knowledge comes from.
Yep. I mean, most people bring up, like, I hate WoW. I hate WoW with a passion because it's not as good in customization as DC. You like literally you can get into DC and to an extent have fun with it, making your own build and possibly do good. You might not be the best, but you could still pull good numbers. Try doing that in any other game. I mean, most people compare DC to WoW because unfortunately it falls within the same genre.
Yeah. Trex draws a lot of his experience from MapleStory too, so.
Oh god, I never played that. That was really big while I was in high school, but I never got a chance.
I've never played it either. I just heard horror stories about it.
I've played it. I will never play it again for one reason. Pay to.
What's that?
And it's pay to win, and I hope DC never gets that way.
Oh yeah, it really was.
Almost everything in that game requires you to be like, oh, you need to drop like $20 real quick. you want to make a really good piece of equipment, $30.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself because I can go ahead and sit over here and defend World of Warcraft because yes, I am back on World of Warcraft mainly because I know the story arc for this entire expansion and I'm really invested in the story arc because I've read the novels. That's my level of geekdom. So I will back off from World of Warcraft for now. But when I do a WoW stream, bring your arguments. WoW sucks. You know what? Everyone has their own taste of life. WoW sucks. DCUO sucks. Guild Wars sucks. Life sucks. So, and I want to also make sure I point out that this is my stream, so please be respectful, or, I have power. At least on the internet. So, alright, I need to get another glass of drink. My OJ's run out. Alright, you guys talk.
Get yourself a glass of drink. Wherever the hell that is.
It's OJ.
Glass of drink.
I think my only disappointment is that DC is still not the level that it should be. I believe that DC should be an MMO that everybody talks about, and that everybody goes like, oh, I've heard of that game. Like, what's that game like? Or I've played that game before. It was awesome. Or because that's what WoW is to a lot of people. I want DC on that level, and I'm disappointed that it's not on that level. And I believe that it has always had the potential to hit that. Especially with like DLCs like Origin Crisis that were amazing. Halls of Power was amazing in my opinion because it dropped so much content all at that one time, and I still scratch my head and go like, why does this game still not have like 3 million players on at the same time? Like that World of Warcraft boasts. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like where the heck are all these people just not diving into DC Universe Online? Because every time I talk about this game, I see people going like, man, this game looks interesting. How come I haven't heard about this? And I'm like, let me sit you down and teach you about DC Universe Online. Yeah. And it baffles me that not a lot of people play this game, at least to the numbers that it deserves.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I would love to log in one day and have a PvP arena queue pop in like 2 seconds, because that's what it used to be, especially during launch. During launch. It was great.
I remember.
And yeah, they have their preferences, but I mean, like, think about it. DC does deserve those numbers. because it is so different. It is that action MMO that everybody's been wanting for years, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, it's got. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it doesn't have the popularity with the players or with players yet. I mean, the thing that kills me is, I mean, and people were talking about this. We talked about this earlier on FNL. Is the fact that this game's on two different platforms, and it's more popular on the console than it is on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I mean, it's not. And it's on a very popular console. It's on the largest selling console that we have right now, and it still doesn't have a huge following or player base compared to other games out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating and it's confusing at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Weapon Mex has a really good point. We haven't seen a DC Universe Online commercial or anything since launch. I mean, you see advertisements for other MMOs all the time, and I mean, it's like how Technocat just said, it's niche, but it doesn't have to be niche if they advertise it in the right way.
Right.
I mean, DC pumps out content so fast, and I think that's what's great about DC. You every 3 months, especially this year, since they've kind of fell into a rhythm on how to do things. I mean, like every month you see something new to get, something new to find, something new to collect. Especially like with the Legends characters, and then you got survival mode, which is that MLG level of rating. Like that one guy, what was his name, Lep Kella, who got banned or whatever because he was being like, "Oh, stop talking about WoW." We do have that level of rating in DC. It's called survival mode.
Yeah.
But the fact that we get so much stuff is awesome. And like each update, it just feels like DC is getting better and better.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, see, I don't know what do you think they need to do? I mean, honestly, I think if they had some commercials, if they were able to get some commercial spots during Flash and Arrow,
Mm-hmm.
they probably would see an uptake in players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I really do feel like they need to do like things like that. Like for the longest time when the Dark Knight Rises came out, me and my friends, because I had my whole like group of friends playing this game, and like I missed that because they all quit. So it's just me now. We all thought that Bane was gonna get like a Dark Knight Rises Legends skin. We talked about how like Batman was gonna get one. All that kind of stuff needs to happen. I think like a lot of like opportunities like that would be great.
I think we should get a flamboyant Bane skin, and Trex should voice him. What do you think, Trex? Sound like a good idea? Yeah.
Mike.
Ben Famous, you got a good point. Or who was that? No, Jared Sofly, good point. Ads in the comics would help. I remember when the actual role-playing game that I played was made by Palladium Books, and I had no idea that there was a RPG for Robotech. Right? I kept seeing all these ads in the comic books I was reading at the time for this RPG for Robotech, and I'm like, wow, I gotta check it out. And that opened up a door for me for like years of role-playing game experience, and enjoyment, just because I found that one that led me to Robotech, which led me to all the other settings and all that Palladium Books put out for role-playing games. And I had a blast with that for years. And then DCUO came out, and I was like,
I'm done. I'm done. This is it for me. I got this.
But I mean, yeah, that's where it starts. I mean, it's like, honestly, the first thing that got me into comics was the cover for, I'll never forget it. It was Uncanny X-Men number 222, I think it was. And it had a cover on the cover. It had Wolverine. And he was fighting Sabretooth. That was the first comic book that I really, outside of Spider-Man, that got me, that opened my eyes up to all these other comics involved out there. And the thing that actually got me into that was Freddy Krueger, because I saw Wolverine with those claws. I was like, dude, it's just like Freddy Krueger. I said, but he's only got 3 claws. And I was like, I got to pick this up and check it out. And it just, I've been hooked on comics since. But yeah, something they need something. They need something, whether it's like advertising or product identification is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Something that will grab hold of the reader. Something they can identify with. I noticed. Now I haven't played it, but I noticed that the Batman 3 Lego game, Beyond Gotham and all that. I saw a commercial for it, and honest to God, I saw some story elements that looked very, very familiar to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, compared if you've been somebody who's played DCUO, I saw some some story elements there, because they all start the beginning of the commercial and all that. It had the major threat, blah blah blah, and then you see Brainiac coming down out of orbit, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? DCO's got a lot of lanterns in it too, Decon.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a lack of content. DC has a lot of content. I mean, 12 powers, soon to be 15. That's a lot more than some games can say.
Yeah.
We got my video. I said I think there's 19 raids in the game right now. There's like 20 something alerts, 19 duos. There's not a lack of content at all. I really think, I think most would agree in the chat that it is just advertising that DC lacks. In terms of maybe what DC needs other than advertising, maybe just more features that are fun to do. Like, a lot of people have been clamoring for things like card games that people can just go into their lair and play, things like that. If you add the operations Gargamon, I believe it is 19. That not counting the novice raids, since those are just copies of raids that already exist.
Yeah. See, and it's, I want to side with a lot of people when they say, because it cracks me up. You say that DC, it's got a lot of content, but then there's players out there who say it's like, oh, it's hardly got anything to run. There's hardly any content. Stop replaying everything. Seriously. Don't get me wrong. I want the devs, and the game to make money so they can keep making content. But I hate replay badges in this game, dude. I really do.
I remember when they came out, in the old podcast, I'm pretty sure we all agreed that it kind of ruined some aspects of DC. Because, when you think about it, FOS, or just raids in general, you looked forward to waiting for that lockout to reset. You were, waiting for that day.
Yeah, and the thing is, that made people get on the game. It made people get on the game. So you definitely got on for raid night. If you didn't get on the game at any other day during the week, you got on for raid night. Because if you missed raid night, good luck.
You were shit out of luck.
Good luck, because you couldn't reset it.
Yourself.
Your buddies couldn't reset it. And there was no, there was hardly, I mean, unless you had some like really cool league mates that were really willing to run it for nothing.
Yep.
You did not get into another league run. You were pugging. You were pugging. And back then, pugs, people complain about pugs today. Come on. Come on.
Junior SoFly says replays are to help people catch up to friends to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, really, who's using replays more, a new player or a veteran player?
Exactly. A new player doesn't.
A veteran player.
A new player doesn't. A new player on this game is normally free or premium, all right, and they're not sure if they're going to keep playing the game or not.
Yep.
The veterans are the ones that the people are subscribed as, in my opinion, at least the way I'm looking at it. I could be wrong. I've had Mets has thrown numbers in my face before on things that I've tried to prove points on, and he's like throwing numbers in my face, and I'm like, well, I don't have access to that information to know that, so you can't throw that in my face. But
I don't know if I can believe some of their numbers sometimes, because they were saying that Searcy was the least bought Legends tune, and I don't know about that one.
They said Superman. Superman is the
Was
most.
the most?
Yeah,
I was like,
most bought tune, and I'm like, really, Superman?
Maybe like during his first weeks, everybody was like, "Oh hell yeah, Superman!" And then after that, I was like, "No,
yeah, Superman's gonna be OP because he's Superman." No, you guys forget this is Batman Universe Online. All right, Batman's got how many skins now? We're getting the 5th skin for Batman coming up soon.
The only other character that has another skin is Harley Quinn and Joker, and we were pretty much lucky to get that. Maybe I'm waiting on when we get other skins for other players, but
yeah, I want to see the you remember the red and the blue Superman from from the Death of Superman. I want to see those two. I want to see those skins. I want to see those skins introduced. But back to what we were talking about with what were we talking about? Oh,
just crazy stuff. We kind of got off topic with Game Update 43.
Well, real quick, I do want to talk about, because I am on test server right now, and I want to talk a little bit about fire. The changes they've done with fire tanking. A second, let me bring those up here. So right now, as it stands, changes for fire tanking. Using a superpower now also increases your restoration when wearing item level 81 or higher gear. Now I know there's been some dissent over the whole, why do you have to wait until they're level 81 gear to wear it to get the benefit? Honestly, because you don't need it before then. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, it'd make you nearly like a god before then. That's probably why.
Let's see, Burning Determination now heals more damage instantly when activated. In Tank Roll, it will trigger up to 10 heals over the duration. And Stoked Flames now heals a significant amount of damage instantly. I have yet to test this stuff. I'm looking forward to getting on test. While I'm on test, I'm actually getting my fire tune caught up on everything. In regards to my gear and mods and all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to testing this stuff out. I'm kind of underwhelmed by these changes, to be honest with you, simply because it's not exactly what I was looking for. I mean, yeah, having those heals would be great. Having those extra heals would be great, but I would like to see a larger buff to our health when we're using powers. Simply because I'm still seeing Rage being a dominant tank over fire, because our health caps, and Rage just doesn't.
I always felt that Fire's mechanic was interesting because it played similar to like a Dark Knight from Final Fantasy or whatever, where you're basically leeching life. And I've always liked that about Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me cringe when Rage essentially stole that limelight from Fire when it came out. And I've always believed that Fire needs to like readjust the thing that makes it unique, which is their self-healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like I've never played a tank because it's never been a role that's intrigued me. But you're saying that Fire needs their health there needs to not be a cap, right?
Or at least a larger buff for our health. Because I mean, having these heals is great. But unless it can heal a one shot, unless it can heal like a one shot from you're going in as an appropriately geared fire tank into wave. All right, appropriately geared fire tank at that level in Paradox Wave would still get one shot by the Warriors energy ball. Yep. If they just stood there and ate it. Granted, now there's a mechanic with that where people can just like lunge in and you won't take any damage from the big his big epic like he throws out like 5 or 6 of the damn things, but that's neither here nor there. An appropriately geared fire tank at that level would still get one shot. A rage tank wouldn't, because their health would be buffed up to Jesus levels, and even whatever damage they took, as long as they weren't rage crashing, they would survive it. They would just heal it right back. So unless this resto buff is going to give us heals to be able to heal that damage back up, I'm not really seeing where the benefit is yet. But I've already talked to some of the guys in that test server initiative and all that. I'm gonna see if I can get a run on Love and War tomorrow going, to where I'm gonna try and solo fire tank it, the one piece feat. And we're going to see where it goes. Another thing, too, I've seen a lot of people talking about in this thread is people are talking about there's still no ranged pull for Fire. Fire's still, flight guys are still reliant on using low pressure for a ranged pull. We don't have a Rage Bringer or a inescapable storm.
Like a single target?
No, I mean, a single target. We've got. We could pick up Lasso. I'm talking about like
necessarily
Rage has Rage Bringer, and Ice has Inescapable Storm, where it can pull multiple adds over to you. Fire doesn't have anything like that.
I thought Backdraft did that.
Backdraft that does. It's to a mid range. It's a mid range AOE.
Oh,
but I'm talking about if something's. I'm talking about if an ad is way off over there, beating the crap out of your controller, and all that. I can't get to them. Backdraft won't get it. I have to use like low pressure. Or if I have it in my loadout, I'll throw a fireball at them. But half the time I'm surrounded by a bunch of ads and all that, or a boss, or a couple bosses there, and one of those will get hit by that fireball instead of that ad that's off in the distance.
Yeah.
So.
Well. So you're saying like Fire just needs a pull?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking for a pull. I'd like to see some kind of a pull also. To be honest with you.
What would be cool? To have like an AOE pool that's similar to Inescapable Storm or Rage Bringer. Even if it is just like a single target pull, maybe, or something like that. Like this at this point it's just imagination. But like, say like your character like stomp, he used the like animation from Brawling's like Stomp, where they like punch the ground and then like that rock comes out and that's their block breaker. Like, what if you did that, but it like brought up flames from the ground and it like went and grabbed the enemy and brought it back to you? That'd be cool.
Well, see, I mean, some people use wildfire for that. They use that for ranged. For me, the animation cast is too long, especially if you're tanking, because the animation The animation cast for that is the same animation that Mass Dead has. It's exactly the same and it's exactly as long. Tanks cannot just stand there and do that. It's got to be quick. You know, it's got to be a quick. What I would like to see something similar to Ragebringer, and it could be like you go to throw it. It's like a flame whip.
Mhm.
You know, we see kind of like that Balrog in Lord of the Rings. You know,
Yeah.
a flame whip reaches out, grabs them, and yanks them over.
Whip chain
That
or
would be
something.
cool. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. What power would I be willing to give up for that, you ask? Let me look. Let's see here. You could get rid of. We'll do this. Combine immolation into inflame, and then bam, there it is. Replace that with replace it with immolation, and combine immolation into inflame. That's what I'd like to see. But yeah, so apparently the resto buff though, it's about 20% whenever you use a power.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll look at my stats right now here on test. My stats right now on test, I've got 3186 dominance, and my resto is 3756. Because I actually had already started stat stacking resto and dominance on here, just because I was trying to test something out with fire, and then all of a sudden, bam, they decided to do this, which was awesome. So I don't have to respec. um, but okay, so I said, well, what I say my resto was at 3756. All right, I want to use a power and check out my resto, and my resto's buffed up 4576 now. So yeah, that's about 20. That's about 20%.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I need to test it out. I need to see what's what with it before I can judge it.
Mhm.
But looking at it, just looking at those changes that they have right there, I'm kind of underwhelmed by them.
Well, I think the biggest thing for fire tanking is I hope it gets at least what it deserves before experimental serums comes out.
Yeah, it needs to, because then there's going to be, and this is another thing that cracks me up. You know, you talk about those, suspicious numbers they throw out, about Cersei, being the least bought Legends player or Legends tune on that. Do you know Fire is the most popular power in the game?
I knew it was that because that used to be the very first choice you'd see. So people would just be
Right.
like, I'm just trying out the game. We'll just try out fire. That's not the case anymore. I think it goes like alphabetically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could just be on inactive accounts that play fire. And that's probably honestly what it is. It's just a bunch of dead characters that have fire as their power.
Yeah.
But I mean, even after fire gets fixed, though, I know Earth needs some love.
Yeah, Earth. I know Earth could use some love. Earth needs a group pull too, like Rage Ring. It's right now. It's got that single target with Earth and Grip, and I don't like it.
And then it has that like center AOE pull with epicenter.
Epicenter, yeah.
Which is just backdraft.
Basically, yeah.
But I mean, like, I think the biggest problem with Earth tanking is just the poor pet AI. You got a pet that's gonna stand in front of a one shot, and the pet doesn't know that it needs to move the freak away. Or like my biggest suggestion for Earth tanking, because we're never gonna get AI pets that are smart enough to be like, oh crap, that's an AOE, let me move away, or like a button that's gonna call your pet back to you. Just have a mechanic to where pets for Earth will block when you block.
Right. You know what I want them to do with the AI for pets in this game is the AI, all right, the pets in this game that mainly have ranged weapons or do ranged attacks to do them at range.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, like Robot Sidekick. All right, there's no reason why Robot Sidekick needs to go in there and smack a boss with his freaking arms. There's no reason why it needs to do that. All right, sit back and do your pew 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 off in the distance and out of my way. There's nothing more frustrating as a tank than to have somebody's, have all these lab assistant freaking backups, or the robot sentinels backups, or sidekicks with hand blasters, or the robot sidekicks, or the freaking gadget turrets.
Yep.
All of them surrounding the boss with you, and if I need to get out of the way of a boss's one shot AOE, I can't because I've got all these damn ads, all these damn pets around me. So frustrating. I want to choke somebody. So frustrating. Makes me want to choke somebody. So yeah.
I feel like we've
we've covered everything.
Yeah.
I think we've
touched
covered
a bunch of
everything.
subjects. So
Trex, is there anything else you want to say about WoW? Trex, are you still listening?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Coughing up a storm. Coughing up my lung. Man, this Ebola hurts.
The ebola-sars?
The ebola-sars. No, you guys touch on some great stuff. Good show. Wow, all of a sudden I just felt the inner Meps in me. Just yeah, it's a great show. You guys did a fantastic job.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
no. DC America.
And now finding out that he's a vegan, I feel that if he had some meat in him, he'll be a lot more, motionful.
He'd have more fire in him. More fire in him. Yeah.
I mean,
more fire.
he'd be more bouncy, I guess it would be. Kind of like more upbeat instead of so monotone. He does need a hamburger.
Yeah. So I found out he was vegetarian at SOE Live because I was like, offering some of the food we had at the community council dinner.
We're at PF Chang.
Yeah, at PF Chains there. I went to offer him something. He's like, no thanks. He's like, I'm a vegetarian. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, nah, it sucks for you. I'll just have yours then.
Wow.
But yeah, I think Meps could use a steak. Meps needs to eat a good steak, and that would bring him around. Did you hear Trex? Did you hear my suggestion about a new Bane skin?
You understand? My headphones are still on. I heard everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard all that.
I was just making sure. Flamboyant Bane coming soon to Legends. Voiced by Trexlight.
And it would be Star Sapphire Bane. That would be the only legitimate way to go.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
It would. It really would.
Let's Trex, you sound tired, buddy. Let's go ahead and end our spiel.
Yeah. All right. So, last week's episode is on iTunes, and you can also find it over at Trexlight.com. You can find all of our past episodes on iTunes and at Trexlight.com, and also the past episodes over at youtube.com/Trexlight. The video from last week will be on Superpatriot's channel with Soups. Where can we find you at?
You can find me, of course, at youtube.com/TheDaddy'sHouse. I am also on the Twitter at The Daddy's House there, and the Facebook /The Daddy's House. And occasionally you can find me streaming, sometimes in poor quality, here on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Daddy's House. I need to figure out what the deal is with that. I really do. Vagrant, where can we find you at, sir?
You can find me at YouTube/The Alpha Tester. You can find me on Facebook /Vagrant Game. You can find me on Twitter /Vagrant Game Vagrant_gaming actually. You can also find me on Twitch /Vagrant Gaming. I think that's all of my little media places and stuff like that. Trex, what about you?
You can, of course, find me over at the hospital with my ebola-sars. I'll be in the quarantine zone. Please send cookies. You can find me over at youtube.com/Trexlight. You can, of course, find me on the Facebook at youtube.com/Trexlight, and especially over at the Twitter at This Is Trex. I just posted on Twitter and my personal Facebook. Did you guys see out my Stephen Emile Fuck Cancer t-shirt?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I did, actually.
I got Stephen Emile on me. Feels good. Feels real good.
You would be a flamboyant vein.
See what I'm saying?
That's like your dream role right there.
Why not? You gotta be something, right? Gotta be something. So, thank y'all so much for tuning in for tonight. Spittle is streaming right now. I just got the email. He is streaming over at his channel at twitch.tv/Spittle. Please, go over there, watch him, because he deserves a plug, because he yelled at me last time, because he didn't get a plug. So, we have to exchange plugs. That's how we do this show all the time. Stick around in chat. If you guys have any questions, JR, I do see your question. I will answer your question in just a moment in chat. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys not next week, because next week is Thanksgiving. Please have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday. Be safe out there. Enjoy your 4-day weekends, your 5-day weekends, your vacation time, whatever you guys are doing. Enjoy yourselves. Catch us streaming throughout the weekend if we have time. I know I'm going to try, because I don't like my family. I just don't.
Come have Thanksgiving down here, man.
I am not taking that 3-hour drive. Wait, no, it's like
3 hours.
Yeah,
It's like 2.
yeah, 2. All right, see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Later.